Now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Off the Charts, episode 91. Once again, we've got the UK, my little UK friend here, David, who will be, today we'll be discussing singers with multiple bands. We'll give our take. Was it a right thing? Was it a different style? Did people react well or not? Depending on where you are, I guess there. So anyway, we'll chime in a few ideas here and there. So before we start, if you like this type of content, please like and subscribe, and tell your friends. And there you go. We'll do that. So David, how are you today?
I'm very well, thank you, man. How are you doing?
Good. I'm good. I'm because of our time difference. Yeah, he's got the whiskey today. I've got the coffee. Oh.
There you go.
But there we go. I did bring an empty glass. I'm not drinking at 11:44. I have a rule, at least at noon.
Oh yeah, it's early for me as well.
Well, do you guys have? Do you have to put your clocks back 1 hour also?
Yes.
Okay, I was actually wondering. That's why I was asking about the time difference. I'm like, are we going to be still 5 hours away, or? That's why I asked you. So curious. Okay. Waste of time, but whatever.
Okay.
All right. So we'll start off here. So this is it is in no particular taste order, but it's all alphabetical. Okay. So we'll talk first band, multiple singers. To my knowledge, they have 3. Correct me if I'm wrong. Except with Udo,
yes.
Except with David Rees, and except with Mark Tornillo.
There you go.
Your take on this?
Okay, so the way I see it is the main man is obviously Udo. Now Udo is an absolute legend. Sure, yes. Everyone knows that. He's just, I don't know, he is the essential singer. I mean, big surprise, yeah. However, Mark Tornillo is brilliant. He's got a fantastic voice. He reminds me a lot of Brian Johnson.
Yes.
He's got a fantastic voice.
Good replacement for Udo, I'll say that. Very good replacement for Udo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, great replacement. However, I will say David Rees is very, very underappreciated. Fantastic vocalist. He's brilliant. And the album might be a bit weird because it doesn't sound like a guy who's been eating sandpaper for 2 weeks, or drinking broken glass and that, right? But it's really good. Like it's definitely different, but XTC or Ecstasy, whatever you want to call it. That song is so good. It's actually probably in my top accept songs. That riff is so heavy, and it's a really punchy song, really great song.
I do like that album.
It's good.
I call it more of a guilty pleasure. I don't listen.
Yeah.
I listen to it as an album by itself. Like I'd say, I'll put all, if I want to listen to all of Accept in a row, I'll probably skip that one. But that one I can actually just go and listen because I want to listen to some cheesy hair metal version on heavy metal.
Like if you heard that out of the blue, you'd think, well, what's this? You wouldn't think it's Accept. If someone said
no.
You thought it's Accept, you'd be like, what you on? Yeah, what you drinking or something?
Yeah.
But no, honestly, they've never had a bad singer. But Udo's the man for the job. For me,
I find
they're all good. So
I find the Udo Accept albums are fresh and they all sound great. I find the David Rees one is it stands out or sticks out like a sore thumb, but great for different reasons. Is it a good Accept album? No, I don't think it's a good Accept album, but I love the album for what it is.
Oh yeah, like I think it's Generation Clash quite popular. I'm not a huge fan of that one, but I do like D Train a lot. That's brilliant.
Yeah,
that's great. I love XTC as well. Yeah,
it's a good one there. And Mark Tornillo, I find the first one he did with Accept, I fucking loved.
It's brilliant. It's very, very good.
Then after that, they're all like it's same thing like Halloween. I find it's just there like the later album. They all sound the same. while
Yeah.
with Udo sounded fresh.
I'll fully admit I've not listened to anything past Blood of the Nations yet. But Blood of the Nations is fantastic. I
Yeah.
especially love Teutonic Terror.
Oh yeah, Teutonic
Beat
Terror
the
got me right there. I was like, okay, I love that.
Beat the Bastards is great. I love that so much, and Pandemic as well.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah, I listened to that song a lot during 2020. So I mean, take that what
Obviously,
you will.
yeah.
But it was brilliant. So yeah, as I say, they're all very, very good singers. David Rees isn't a very good accept singer, but he's a great singer.
Yes.
Tonello's a great replacement. However, I'll always like Udo the most.
Yeah,
I don't think it's a big surprise.
I think that's pretty clear everywhere. So
yeah.
All right. So there's Accept. Next up, two singers to my knowledge. Bon Scott.
Yeah.
Brian Johnson.
There you go.
Your take?
Okay.
Or do you know these guys really, or?
I love them. Now, I've always been a bit on the fence. I do like both of them a lot. For example, probably my favorite.
I have a favorite.
Probably my favorite AC/DC song is War Machine. However, I think Let There Be Rock is just a phenomenal song. It's like thrash metal or something. Because you should see them play it live. There's a bloody mosh pit when they play it.
Oh, I've seen them twice. It's a great song live.
I think, apart from maybe Deep Purple, they are one of the bands that is like very close to metal, but they're still like hard rock. But that one song, that Let There Be Rock, is just it. You want to bang your head. Yeah, so that song is brilliant.
That's a crazy one there.
I think if I had to choose a favorite album, I'm gonna be the really like basic bitch one and say Back in Black. That there isn't a weak song on that album to me. I especially like Shoot to Thrill, of course. Big surprise, and Shake a Leg's great. I love that. I really love that. Quite fast paced riffs as well. But what else? Oh God, what is it? What is it called? Baby Please Don't Go. But it's like it was like it wasn't a full album, but it was Jailbreak 74.
It's Jailbreak 74 with 5 songs. Yeah, 5.
That is brilliant. That is amazing. I love that. Yeah. And I think they're both fantastic vocalists again. Bon Scott. I mean, big shoes to fill. And quite honestly, I think Brian Johnson did a good job. He's a lot harsher than him sounding, but I mean,
see, I have no problems with both vocally. I find that AC/DC was a little bit more original with the Bon Scott era, and Take Off, Back in Black, maybe Flick of the Switch, and the Walking the Razor's Edge. It sounds like when they say we've made 21 albums that all sound the same, I find there was a little something of freshness in the Bon Scott area, which is on autopilot with Brian Johnson, with the exception of Back in Black. I totally get why that's a huge album. Even when he went a little bit commercially with Thunderstruck and that one, that was huge here. But apart from that, people just want to go see AC/DC for the nostalgia and say that they were there. They still attract crowds. Not sure about album sales of late, but whatever. I find both singers are equal, but musically, I thought it was more interesting in the Bon Scott era. That's just my take on that.
Yeah, I can totally understand that. As I say, I love both the vocalists as well. I just remembered another one of my favorite songs is Big Gun. Now, of course, it helps.
Big Gun, yes, I am.
It helps that Arnie's in the bloody music video. Arnold Schwarzenegger, like
that movie flopped here. That movie flopped here.
I love Last Action Hero. It's such a stupid film.
I have the soundtrack. It's a great soundtrack. But that movie flopped here, and the video did nothing for AC/DC. I'll say that.
I say the film's stupid, but it's not. It's just a massive piss take of action films. So, but it's great. It's
Sorry
just
for that.
funny film. What happened there?
I took my glass of my
Oh.
cup of coffee to hit the friggin' empty whiskey. Okay, that's for AC/DC right there.
There you
Next
go.
up, we're in the Bs. So I'll start, and I'm going to need David for some props here. So I'm talking about Black Sabbath,
There you go.
Ozzy, Dio, and of course, Ian Gillan. Now, I have digitally. Do you have 7-star?
I do. I can get it for you if you want.
Sure, yeah. Just show it off there.
Sure.
I should have forgot. I forgot about that one actually until now.
I like that one. Okay, and I'm gonna be cheeky and get someone else as well. Okay, so we have
Yes.
7-star. Then we also have Tony Martin and Ray Gillan.
Oh, so is that the version with both?
That's both. Yeah, it's both the demo and the proper one. So we've got Tony Martin again with the headless cross, and then Iommi fused with Glenn Hughes. Now, this is pretty much as much a Black Sabbath album as 7-star is, because Iommi is the only member who stayed constant with the band.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
This is Iommi and Glenn Hughes. So I think that's better than 7-star. But anyway.
So Ozzy, Dio, Gillan. Then we had Glenn Hughes / Ray Gillan. Not Ian. Ian Gillan was on Born Again. Ray Gillan. But for those of you who don't know, Ray Gillan replaced Glenn Hughes on tour for the 7-star. I'm not going to go into detail for that story where he got punched in the throat.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And then I guess Ray Gillan recorded the vocals for Eternal Idol, but then left for Badlands, and then they hired Tony Martin, who did a lot of the 90s, late 80s, early 90s Black Sabbath albums. So it's this era this band is so divided. It's divided into Ozzy, Dio, Gillan, and Martin eras. Let's use those 4 main ones.
Yeah, don't worry about all the little.
The big, well, I'm not even going to go with Terry Donato. I think also was
David Donato.
David Donato, yeah.
That's it.
Terrible singer, by the way. Anyway, that's another. I have a CD of him, but from something else. But the 2 obviously main ones would always be Ozzy versus Dio. But one thing is we all find is the era of the Tony Martin era gets like, even with the band, I find like they don't re-release those albums, but they'll remaster all the main Black Sabbath ones and the Dio ones. The Ian Gillan era is kind of 50-50, I find. Well, maybe 75-25. It's still not, but the Tony Martin era is completely like here. I don't know how it was in the UK back then. I don't even think you were born when Tyre came out, right?
No.
So it was dead here. Like they were a joke. Like they were a dead band here when those came out.
That's so sad.
Yeah. So I don't know how it was in the UK. That's the thing.
Well, as I say, I don't really know.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't born. But I mean, I think it's very, very unfair. Now, my take on it all, right? So I understand, but I also cannot stand the attitude of, oh, Ozzy is Sabbath, it's only Ozzy Osbourne, only Dio. It's just so close-minded to me.
Yes.
Now, if you wanted to ask me who is Black Sabbath, one member, it's going to be very obvious. It's Tony Iommi. Now, the mastermind of Black Sabbath.
For sure.
Ozzy is extremely iconic and is a brilliant singer. Especially for Black Sabbath, like a lot of people might not say, oh, he's not a great singer, but he definitely can sing, and he was 100% suited for Black Sabbath.
He's very recognizable and identifiable. You're like, all right, that's Ozzy.
You would instantly know it's Ozzy. Same with Dio as well. He has a very, very distinct voice. incredibly powerful voice, and rightly he's treated like a god, and he's a fantastic vocalist. Shame you lost him so soon, but it's just so sad that the others don't get any sort of, mostly don't get sort of recognition. Now, Born Again, I really like that album. I know a lot of people will say it's a bad album. One thing I don't think helps is the production is absolutely god awful.
Yes, and the cover. It's
however,
here it's like people liked it. Like this was an arena tour which was packed here in Canada for the Born Again. Same thing with the Seventh Star. There's a video of them in Montreal here at the Forum where it's like with Ray Gillen singing. So the tour I think was good or decent here. After that, I don't even think Black Sabbath came here in Canada. Like,
it's a shame. Well, what I was going to say is the Born Again, the production is very bad. However, I think it suits some of the songs because, well, especially Disturbing the Priest, are very It's just, I don't even have to describe that song. It is probably the most demonic sounding song they ever did. And I mean,
Zero the Hero, that riff, yes.
Especially in Ian Gillan's, it screams like that. I don't know how to describe him. It's inhuman. Incredible song. I love that. That's my favorite one. I love Zero the Hero. It's better than Paradise City, by the way, which the riff is basically the same. And Trash is brilliant. Of course, I love that song. I don't think I dislike any of them.
Nope.
I even like the bonus song called, I think it's The Fallen. Is it wait a second. I never got that now. I've not got it here, but I think it's called The Fallen. That's a great song. I
don't have that one.
Bonus track. I love Digital Bitch as well. That's brilliant. But the
whole album, like Keep It Warm, is great. Little ballady.
Honestly, it's one of my favorite ones.
Here is actually a lot of. If you ask people who listen to Black Sabbath, it's one of their faves. If you ask your normal person, I just love Ozzy. Even Dio here was just like, of course I was part of it back then. It's like, no, I only like Dio era. It's just because I've heard the Ozzy era so much. Like Iron Man, I'd be okay if I never heard that song ever again.
Great song, but
I'm tired of hearing it.
I gotta say something though, like it's I might not like it, but I understand because you think about how many albums they did with Ozzy and the quality of them. They are phenomenal. They are brilliant albums. And they rightly treated like absolute gems. And when someone's got to go for all those albums, I can't really blame them for being like, oh, there's a new singer. I like all this. And it's fair enough.
It did work.
Foundations of heavy metal. So
it did work when Dio joined. They did not lose a fan base. They probably gained a newer one too at the same time. I find the argument is a lot later in life. Like in the 90s, there's like, Dio versus Ozzy. But you know what, guys? Like Seventh Star is different. But listen to the Tony Martin era. Listen to what's that? The Shining. That is a riff and a half. If you like your Tony Iommi riffs from the check out The Shining. That's a great song. Headless Cross, a little copied structurally with Heaven and Hell, but the song Headless Cross itself is great. Those two albums right there, they're I know that it's critically acclaimed. The Eternal Idol is critically acclaimed. They were kind of going downhill a little bit, but anyway, I'm just saying, give them a shot. There's I'm just naming songs from the Tony Martin they should check out. But if you like your cool Iommi riffs, if you never heard anything past Dio or Gillan, check out The Shining, the song Headless Cross. What else? Anything else to add for?
I can give you some. What I will do first is I'll talk a little bit about Seventh Star. Now, I think Danger Zone is brilliant. I love that song.
Danger Zone,
Danger Zone's awesome. I don't know if I like it more than the Kenny Loggins Danger Zone, but In for the Kill's great. And
Yes.
7 Star, the song is good, is very good. So it's a good album. It's all right, but I mean, if you want a bit of Glenn Hughes Sabbath, it's not Sabbath, but honestly, get this. Get I Am Your Fuse, an absolutely masterpiece of an album. Especially songs like Grace and I Go Insane. They're brilliant. However, I will now gush a bit about Tony Martin because I absolutely love him. So, Eternal Idol, what a great album, honestly. The Shining, as you said, is a stunning opener of a song.
Yeah.
I quite like Ancient Warrior. The Glory Ride is absolutely brilliant. That is like, it's almost like power metal, really. Glory Ride, the vocals are just absolutely phenomenal. Then Nightmare, I love Nightmare, the drums sort of intro. But I think the highlight of this album, without a doubt, is the title track, The Eternal Idol, because I don't think they ever released a song that sounds more kind of doomy than The Eternal Idol. It's just very atmospheric, absolutely fantastic vocals from Tony Martin, and of course, you know, the band is brilliant. You know, Tony Iommi's guitar. I'll quickly go over the other albums. So after the Eternal Idol, of course, we got the Headless Cross, and this is actually my favorite Sabbath album. I'll quite gladly admit it's my favorite Black Sabbath. There isn't a single kind of weakness here. Maybe Call the Wilds a little bit, but honestly, the whole album is phenomenal. And When Death Calls, oh my god. When Death Calls is just absolutely amazing, especially the little guest guitar solo from Brian May, which is
yeah.
And funnily enough, actually, not until recently, but I really, really started to love Nightwing. Nightwing is just an absolute masterpiece of a song. Might even be my favorite song. Of course, the title track's brilliant. So that's your Headless Cross. Thankfully, that seems to be getting a lot of recognition now, which it really deserves in my book. I think next was Tear after
Tyre, Tear, whatever.
Dehumanizer. Well, I don't know when Dehumanizer was now, but
Dehumanizer came after Tyre or Tear.
Okay, yeah. I've heard Tear, TYR, whatever you call it. But anyway, this album's brilliant as well. Anu Mundi, what a brilliant opener.
I like Feels Good to Me.
Very solid. What's that?
Feels Good to Me also is great from that.
Oh, okay, yeah. You see, that's one of the less popular ones, but I mean, I didn't dislike it.
They had a video for it here, so.
Okay. No, that album's very, very good. I love Valhalla, the Sabbath Stones. Brilliant. And then quickly touch on Cross Purposes as well. Again, I quite like this one. It's not maybe quite as good as the others, but Eyewitness is good. I love The Hand That Rocks the Cradle is very good as well. Very dark subject as well is good. The rest is decent, but I think those two are the highlights. And then lastly, of course, we have the Forbidden album, quite literally, Forbidden. Quite funny as well. This copy is very, very difficult to find all these Tony Martin albums. I got all of these and they work perfectly, apart from Tia sadly skips a bit on Lawmaker, which annoys me. But this whole album has that noise on it, and it's almost like the album doesn't want me to listen to it. So maybe it is literally forbidden.
Wow.
But I don't personally think it is horribly bad. I think it's just it's definitely worse than all the others.
I did like Get a Grip and what the hell was that song? There was a Feel Close.
Can't Get Close Enough.
That's that one. I love that riff in that.
Okay, yeah, I actually like The Illusion of Power. Now,
is that the one with Ice-T there?
Ice-T, I like Ice-T as well. I mean, having a rap in Black Sabbath is definitely like jump the shark kind of thing,
yeah.
you know. But I like Ice-T and I like his music, his band Body Count, so it kind of helps a bit. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think it's really cool he got to be with Black Sabbath because he likes them a lot. But it's a bit weird and out of place. It's definitely not very good, and sadly, is what I can't say a lot about it because I can barely listen to the album because this copy is sadly damaged. But
wow,
I've listened to a bit on YouTube. It's quite good, but
it's okay. I don't find it deserves the bashing that it.
It's definitely one of the worst, and I know some people don't like Never Say Die, for example, but I think that album is leagues and leagues better than this one, especially Johnny Blade. Lastly, I will touch on, I forgot to say, the bonus track on this, Some Kind of Woman, is basically like Van Sabbath. It sounds like
Van Sabbath, did you say?
Black Halen or something. It sounds like it sounds like Hot for Teacher if Tony
okay.
wrote it.
Wow.
So it's very good, but yeah, that is the long Black Sabbath talk concluded.
That's cool. Like I said, I'm gonna get the Sabbath everything that I can there eventually. It's like you're trying to get. I'm trying to right now complete collections, and Sabbath is a big one.
It is.
It can be a little bit expensive too, so I'll get to that. I'll get to them eventually, but I'm a huge I was pro Dio at the time, and everybody else was like pro Ozzy, and then I'm like, at my age, I'm like, you know what? Who cares? Just enjoy the music, guys. If you really don't like it, give it a shot. Like, don't diss it without having tried it. That's all I'm saying for Sabbath. It's like Ozzy, Dio, Ian Gillan was again those three. I'm not even, but the Tony Martin era guys, give it a shot. Give it a shot. It's actually there's some actually very good gems in there. Just because it's not Dio or Ozzy singing doesn't mean it's bad.
Oh yeah.
There was the inclusion of keyboards that kind of scared other people also, but I don't mind that at all there. Like it's very good. It's not danger or type keyboards there. Like it's, but anyway, that's my take on that. I would say give the Tony Martin era a chance for Black Sabbath. It's as good as anything else they've done there. So, all right.
I think the keyboards suit the mysterious kind of occult vibe.
I'm pro keyboards for that one. But again, the famous here's like the second you put keyboards in that era, you were shunned. Like, see, Black Sabbath should be like this, but they were the second you put keyboards in, you were shunned and you were done for at that time when it came out. So didn't help there. Okay. Anyway, okay, so what we will do here is we will do one last group. So I'm telling David now, hang on, because this will be a part 1 and a part 2. So we'll do my last group for part 1, and then we'll just continue recording after for another one there. Okay, so last group for part 1 would be, and I'll probably be doing most of the talking here, since I was told David doesn't know that much about these guys, but we'll go for it. Genesis with Peter Gabriel. Genesis with Phil Collins. Not many people know that Genesis had a third singer. What was his name? Ray Wilson, that's it. So, do you know Genesis a lot or not at all, or only a certain era?
So, I know I Can't Dance. I know that song, and I like that.
You know what? Sorry, what?
I Can't Dance. That's the one, isn't it?
Yes, that's considered one of their worst.
I like it. My mum introduced me to that one. So
yeah,
and not Genesis, but I mean, everyone knows this, but Peter Gabriel, Sledgehammer.
Oh yeah, that was huge at the time. I didn't even know
brilliant.
He was the song from, but See here again, I don't know how it is in Europe there, but here in Canada, I'm not even going to talk about this guy because this guy's like an enigma of like it's almost like as if this does not exist. So I'm not going to talk about this. I'll talk about the Peter Gabriel versus the Phil Collins era.
Okay.
Everybody you talk to here who loves music loves the Peter Gabriel era better. Anybody who loves songs, like catchy songs, loves the Phil Collins era. Myself, I got into Genesis with the Phil Collins era. And I was talking to my friend Pascal the other day, is like, and how he's more, I believe, Peter Gabriel, mind you. Genesis did some good stuff in the 80s, but at one point, and he made a good point when he told me Genesis with Phil Collins versus Phil Collins' solo career were almost, you couldn't tell who was who at one point. You understand what I mean?
I love Phil Collins stuff. He's brilliant.
Yeah. So
but I don't know his stuff with Genesis very well.
If you would ask me right now, like I said, I got a friend of mine who actually gave me some Genesis albums here, so I'll be making a Genesis. I just need 2 more albums, and they're friggin' hard to find. But I'm slowly appreciating the Peter Gabriel era. If you would have asked me before Peter Gabriel era, I was like, no, I doesn't do anything for me. Only Phil Collins era. I'm slowly getting both, I try to appreciate both for what they are. But I can understand why some people don't like the Phil Collins era because it's almost sounds like indistinguishable with, but you know what? A good tune's a good tune. Land of Confusion, Mama, the We Can Dance era, I think, like up until Invisible Touch was passable, but that We Can Dance album here, I don't mind the song. I don't mind the song, but it became too much of a, it looks like a solo Phil Collins solo project than a Genesis record here.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm missing was the We Can't Dance one there in their first one. But I don't know. I like Phil Collins, like Duke and Abacab. Those are great albums. I can listen to those. But I like your catchy song more than your progressiveness of music.
Yeah.
Not just for Genesis, as a general rule, I like your catchiness before your talent. If that makes any sense there.
Yeah, I can understand that, yeah.
But you know what? Like, chime in, guys. Like, it's, and there's like for part 2, there'll be there's a big doozy one that comes for which vocalist is better for this. But if you like your music, listen to Peter Gabriel era from Genesis. If you like your songs, listen to the Phil Collins era. Personally, I like the Phil Collins era, but it could change. As I'm getting older, I can slowly appreciate more the Peter Gabriel era. But it's progressive. It's not the same band at all. Like from the 70s and compared to the 80s version, does not sound like the same band at all. It's like I find a difference between Rush from the 70s to Rush in the 80s. You could start seeing some little elements. This one is really black and white, as opposed to Rush had white, gray, and then black there. But they were still, I don't know. I find it's a tough one, that Genesis one. I don't think you'll ever find people like, I just don't find it fair that the flack Phil Collins gets, even though I think they were more popular in the 80s sales wise, album sales wise. But does that make a better band how much albums you sell? Not necessarily. But anyway, I just find like it's 2 different bands. Maybe you should have gotten a different name. I don't know. But I like it for what they are. I do love the Phil Collins era. I like the Peter Gabriel era, but I need more time to spend. I need to spend more time listening to the Peter Gabriel era. So it's I'm not an expert yet on Genesis, but I can tell you a lot from the Phil Collins era. I know more of that era, a lot more. But again, if it wasn't for Phil Collins, I would have never given the Peter Gabriel era a chance at all. So you got to give credit where credit's due. So that's the Genesis portion. You want anything to add for that one, or?
Well, they've definitely been on my radar to listen to. But of course, I'm more of a metal person. Although I do branch out a little bit into rock and hard rock. So, for example, I love Dire Straits.
Yes.
Or I also love what's that in my head then? Bob Seger, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember you telling me that.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, it's not just rock either. I love stuff like Madness and all that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah,
I just don't find that this argument for who's the better singer is really that warranted.
It's a silly argument. You know, I don't think there needs to be an argument with any of these bands really. Like, oh, this one's better than this one, or you know, like, I mean, unless they're genuinely bad, you know, which I don't think.
Yeah.
You know, but or they don't suit the band, but you know,
exactly.
Yeah. That I'm not much to add really about that, but I mean, I've definitely got to give them a bit of a listen.
Yeah, it's like I said, I'll do my album ranking one day of Genesis when I get those last two albums there. So hopefully this Friday when we're going to Montreal, my friend, I'll get some. I know the first one was there last time. So, all right. So this is the end of part 1. So we shall see you guys on next episode, part 2. And anyway, cheers with an empty glass here. We'll see you guys on part 2.
Cheers.